$150,000 for couples, but those checks will now phase out faster. For individuals now, if you make more than $80,000, you will not receive a check. And for couples, that cutoff is $160,000. Now, this was really a response to moderate Democrats who were concerned that the checks were not very well targeted. And I am told that President Biden has signed off on this change.
Around $1.4 billion were made by paper check. Roughly 858,000 refunds were distributed by direct deposit. It totaled around $500 million. The refunds came as a result of the chapters in the Massachusetts law that gives the state taxpayers free stimulus cash. Not only that, folks, but $1,240 stimulus checks are actually real and are actually being sent out. That's because Social Security recipients will get a hefty raise in 2023. That's next year. And that's with your benefits rising 8% in the most of 4 decades. The inflation-related bump may convince some retirees into tapping their benefits early, before they even reach the full retirement age. Because according to the Social Security Administration, the cost of living adjustment will just boost the average retiree's monthly payment by $150 to $1,900 next year. A policy analyst already said that an advocacy group for 70 million retirees, disabled people and others, that the increase will just simply help them catch up to inflation. They hit a 40-year high of 10% earlier this year. The Social Security Administration already said that the Social Security is the most successful anti-poverty program in the country. Now, when President Roosevelt signed the Security Act into law, it helped so many people and was a retirement program for workers. It was just part of a historic New Deal, and the first lump sum payments were made in 1937. But now, in 2022, according to the National Academy of Social Insurance, today's workers pay Social Security taxes into the program, and the money is dispersed as monthly income to beneficiaries in a pay-as-you-go system. 1 in 5 Americans receive the benefits, including more than 47 million retired workers and dependents, 10 million disabled workers and dependents, and 6 million survivors of deceased workers. According to a new report, almost all Americans shall wait beyond the age of 65 just to claim their full Social Security benefits, with more than 90% should not hold out until 70 when they get even more, but only 10% wait until 7 years old. So the advice comes as Americans live longer and face a retirement that could last more years than expected. Let's say you turn 62 in 2022, your full retirement age is 67, and your early benefits can start being at 65, but that's $1,000 a month if you claim it at that age. Now, some Social Security recipients will get an additional $2,400 a year in benefits. That's if a new bill recently introduced in Congress gets approved. So I'm just hoping that President Biden does what he promised to the American people. And we all know what that means. Stimulus payments and stimulus payments to people that need it the most. Because that's what happens, folks. President Biden needs to give it to the people that need stimulus checks the most. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check and Social Security benefits. Folks, there's a ton of news that you have to know. You will see your monthly benefit check cut because changes are coming to Social Security. And now, you might be seeing some negatively effective, some Social Security recipients and retirees' checks will be negatively affected by this move. Social Security already moved more than 26 million Americans out of poverty, but according to the Census Bureau, it made it more important, and now, the aging population coupled with declining birth rates and has also created a program. Now, Social Security's $1 trillion shortfall over the next 75 years in the trust fund is already on pace to be depleted by 2035. Now, at that point, the Board of Trustees says income from payroll taxes will only cover about 80% of scheduled benefits, and that figure would drop to 74% by 2096. Of course, government officials are well aware of the problem. The Board of Trustees has been forecasting the demise of the trust fund since the 80s. A recent survey from the University of Maryland indicates that certain proposed changes, just to Social Security alone, will enjoy bipartisan support among Americans. What this means is that 2 proposed changes to delay the trust fund depletion would increase tax revenue for the Social Security program. And now specifically, one would apply Social Security payroll in more wages, and while the other would increase the Social Security payroll tax rate. But now, under this current law, workers pay Social Security tax on the first $147,000 that they earn. Now, any income above that limit is just tax-free. It means that someone with an annual salary of $200,000 pays the same amount as someone with around a salary of $200 million.
Go ahead.
Would you allow an amendment to deal with the workers to this railroad bill, or is it going to have to stick the way it is, the way the White House is?
Leader McConnell and I both want to pass it quickly. We understand the time deadlines, and we'll be working together to figure out the best way to get it done quickly.
Do you have the support of all Democrats to move
As I said, Leader McConnell and I are going to sit down we agreed to at the meeting today and figure out the best way to get it done quickly. Yes.
I know that you talked about the importance of getting an omnibus done, but Speaker Pelosi also said a year-long CR might be possible if you can. Is that a viable option?
We're focusing on the omnibus, and I think she would certainly make that a much higher priority than any CR, based on our discussions. Okay? Yes.
Hi. If Republicans won't help Democrats deal with the debt limit in the lame duck, are you willing to use reconciliation?
What I've said is that, and I'll say it again, the way we've done debt ceiling in the past is bipartisan. We've done it in a variety of different ways. I'd like to see it done in a bipartisan way and get it done before the end of the year.
Leader Schumer.
Yes.
Leader Schumer.
Well, this,
Leader Schumer.
Leader Schumer, will there be a vote on the assault
it's
weapons
rare I
ban?
point at someone, no one says anything. Usually it's three of you.
Will there be a vote on the assault weapons ban before the end of this Congress?
You know,
Do
look.
think that you have 50 Democrats to
Look, the bottom line is that I am the author of the assault weapons ban. I believe in it strongly, and we're continuing to work to see the best way we can try to get this done. Yes.
Will the Electoral Count Act get its own vote, or will it be attached to the NDAA or the omnibus? Or
I think there is bipartisan support for the Electoral Count Act. There are a few issues that have to be worked out. There are some differences between the House and Senate bills, but we want to get it done, and I'm optimistic that we can.
Folks, what are your thoughts on President Biden and the fourth stimulus check? Is President Biden going to do all that it takes to help out the American people with this, or do you believe that he's holding it back? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Personally, everybody, I believe that President Biden can definitely do more for the American people and send out stimulus checks sooner than later. It needs to be done. More relief cash is coming. The deadline is quickly approaching for millions of Americans to take action and claim a new direct payment. In this video, I will be sharing with you the exact dates and details of this new round of stimulus checks. Now, some homeowners could also get financial help this month, and this could come from the Homeowner Assistance Fund. The American Rescue Plan set aside almost $10 billion for homeowner relief, and more than 40 states have now set up homeowner assistance programs to facilitate the distribution of funds. The funds will be distributed to the states by the Treasury Department, and money from this program could be used to help with mortgage payments, homeowner insurance costs, and other specified purposes. Between these state programs and homeowner assistance funds, millions can soon be entitled to money from the government to help them cope with the ongoing financial consequences of the crisis. Denver is anticipating its second half of stimulus funding to come in July, and according to city officials, Denver will receive $300 million in relief funds through the American Rescue Plan. The governor, along with leadership from the House and Senate, announced that people in Colorado will receive a $400 stimulus check this year as well. The stimulus is available to full-time Colorado residents who have filed their 2021 tax returns by May 31st. Approximately 3.1 million people in Colorado are eligible for the debate. The legislation is also designed to help Coloradans combat the rising cost of everyday necessities. It will provide $400 for a single filer and $800 to a joint filer. The state's strong economic rebound, which includes more than 100% of recovery rate of jobs and a 3.7% unemployment rate, has led to a record state surplus. And now Janet Yellen recently stated that the recession that many Americans fear that is coming is not at all imminent. Talks of a recession has accelerated this year.